Hello, I'm Mr. Freeman. This semester I've been reading a lot of young adult books, and I thought that I would share some of them with you. I don't have any of them with me here, because I read them throughout the semester, and I've returned just about all of the books that I've read to the library. So, the book will be here when I'm talking about it. Before we begin, let me apologize for the number of jump cuts that are going to be in this video, because I'm incapable of doing this all in one shot. Point in case. Plus I have to look over to the side for my notes and script, which would normally be on the back of a book. So, bear with me. So the first book that I want to talk about is probably one that you've already heard a bit about, because there's a very popular movie based on it, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Let me start off by just saying that the author of this book is absolutely amazing. John Green has written a number of other books that are all just wonderful. Go read them, just all of them, or any of them that you can get your hands on, because they're all great. But why should you read The Fault in Our Stars, particularly? It will make you cry. And that is probably a good thing, because not a lot of books can do that. The story begins by introducing the reader to Hazel, the narrator and protagonist of the story, at a support group for teenagers with cancer. There she meets Augustus Waters, the other main character of the story, and they quickly develop a friendship. They both want their relationship to develop into something more than a friendship, but at the same time, they don't, because they both have cancer, and they don't want to put the other one through the pain of losing someone that they care about so much. So the story follows with the two teens struggling to make sense of their friendship and developing a relationship, while trying to also make sense of their own mortality and questioning what effect their passing might have on their loved ones. One thing I found particularly interesting about the book was right at the very beginning, before you even get into the story at all. John Green has an author's note. This is not so much an author's note as an author's reminder of what was printed in small type a few pages ago. This book is a work of fiction. I made it up. Neither novels nor their readers benefit from attempts to divine whether any facts hide inside a story. Such efforts attack the very idea that made-up stories can matter, which is sort of the fundamental assumption of our species. I appreciate your cooperation in this matter. I like to apply that message to pretty much anything I read. So if you want to read a made-up story that still matters, and if you want a book that will probably make you cry, read The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and also all his other books. The next book that I want to talk to you about is The Lions of Little Rock by Kristen Levine. This is another made-up story that absolutely does matter. The story is set in 1958, when racial segregation in schools was still the norm. 1958 in Little Rock, Arkansas, in particular, is the year after the Little Rock Nine famously were the first African Americans to attend Central High School, which resulted in the National Guard coming in and lots of national attention. But that isn't the focus of the story of The Lions of Little Rock. The Lions of Little Rock takes place the year after, when the governor has shut down the high schools to prevent any more integration from African Americans. The protagonist of the story is a little girl named Marley. She doesn't talk much, and she doesn't have very many friends, but this year, there's a new girl at school named Liz, and Liz helps Marley to sort of open up and come out of her shell. But after they develop that closer friendship, it's revealed that Liz is actually a light-skinned African American passing as white so that she can attend middle school at a better school. She just stops attending school because the community would not allow an African American to attend school there. But Marley doesn't want to lose her new best friend, so she has to find a way to maintain her friendship with Liz, despite the objections of the community. The rest of the story follows from there, and it becomes a question of whether or not they can be friends, despite the difference in their race, and whether or not they could possibly change how the community sees race so that issues like this no longer exist. There's a chance that this book might also make you cry. Again, if that's what you're looking for, I highly suggest The Lions of Little Rock by Kristen Levine. So the last book that I want to talk to you about is completely different from the other two, is William Shakespeare's Star Wars by Ian Desher. Now, some of you might be thinking, William Shakespeare didn't write Star Wars. Well, of course William Shakespeare didn't write Star Wars. This book is actually a rewrite of the American classic film Star Wars by George Lucas, but it's rewritten in the style of William Shakespeare. Some of you might think that that's a very boring concept, and you have a hard enough time reading Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet. But what I'm suggesting is actually for you to both read it and listen to it, because the audiobook in particular is very well done. The audiobook includes the whole cast of characters read by different readers, sound effects, music, the whole thing. It's as if you're listening to the play being performed on stage. One of the things about Shakespeare that sets him apart from other authors is the poetic style of the writing, the iambic pentameter. And Ian Desher, of course, uses that same rhythm in the rewrite in the style of William Shakespeare. Listening to a Shakespeare play is very different than reading it. I won't go into the plot summary of what William Shakespeare's Star Wars is, because most of you have probably already seen the movie. But I will take a few minutes here to play a short clip of the audiobook so that you can experience for yourself.
Enter Han Solo, who joins Chewbacca, Obi-Wan, and Luke at a table.
Han Solo at thy service, gentlemen. The great Millennium Falcon is my ship. My first mate Chewie telleth me ye seek safe passage to the system Alderaan.
Aye, true, if 'tis a vessel swift of flight.
A vessel swift of flight, thou sayest? Hast thou not heard of the Millennium Falcon, sir?
Now shall he boast. But if his ship we'd have, some boasting will endure. Nay, should I have?
'Tis but the ship that hath the Kessel Run accomplished in 12 parsecs, nothing more. Imperial starships have I slyly scaped, but nothing more of that. And neither do I speak about bulk cruisers, small, but vast Corellian ships. Yet nothing more, no more. I shall not brag about her speed, good sir. Suffice to say, the ship shall fill thy needs, as she's the fastest here, but nothing more.
Aye, nothing more. I wish he'd hold his peace. This man, it seems, doth love his ship far more than e'er I saw a man his woman love.
Pray tell, what shall the cargo be?
So that is William Shakespeare's Star Wars, written by Ian Desher. I'd like to thank you for listening to these book suggestions. I found them all to be very entertaining reads, and I hope that you enjoyed them as well. Goodbye.